The horizon over Ontario today, Saturday, March 14, 2026, serves as a grim and immediate reminder that winter in the Great Lakes region never truly leaves without a violent, calculated, and final confrontation. As we track the satellite imagery this afternoon, a massive and moisture-rich storm system is currently bisecting the province, creating a dangerous weather wall that is turning a standard Saturday into a race against the elements for millions of residents from Windsor to Ottawa. This is not a simple dusting of snow or a light spring rain that one might expect in mid-March. Rather, we are witnessing a high-intensity meteorological event where an Arctic high-pressure ridge from the north is slamming into a surge of volatile Gulf moisture from the south, resulting in a chaotic blend of heavy, wet snow, freezing rain, and wind gusts that are already clocking in at over 60 kilometers per hour in open areas. If you are standing in the Greater Toronto Area or moving through the Golden Horseshoe right now, you can feel the atmospheric pressure plummeting as the heart of this storm centers itself over the region, threatening to paralyze the 400 series highways with a lethal layer of black ice and near-zero visibility that can trap a driver in seconds. The sheer energy of this system is enough to rattle windows and put an immense strain on the provincial power grid as the weight of accumulating ice begins to bow tree limbs and power lines from London all the way to Kingston, creating a high-risk environment for localized outages that could last well into the night. For those in northern Ontario and the cottage country regions like Muskoka and Haliburton, the situation is escalating into a full-scale emergency as the precipitation has turned into a pure, heavy snowfall event, with accumulation rates reaching 4 centimeters per hour in some localized pockets, which is a staggering amount of weight for any structure to bear. This creates a whiteout scenario where the horizon vanishes entirely, making any form of travel an extreme risk to life and limb. And we are already seeing reports of jackknife trucks and multi-vehicle pileups as the grip of winter tightens. Meanwhile, in southern Ontario, the temperature is hovering at a deceptive 0 degrees Celsius, creating a flash freeze environment where wet roads transition into skating rinks in a matter of seconds as the sun begins to set and the ground temperature drops. This is a day where the daily forecast is the literal difference between safety and a roadside emergency, as the wind chill values are expected to dive toward -15 by tonight, turning any stranded vehicle into a dangerous freezer for those caught without emergency supplies. Emergency crews across the province have been deployed in anticipation of widespread disruptions, and the sound of salt trucks is being drowned out by the howling northern winds that are currently sweeping across Lake Ontario, whipping the water into a frenzy and sending freezing spray onto coastal roadways. The complexity of today's storm lies in its total unpredictability, with the lake effect enhancement adding extra bands of intense snow squalls that can appear out of nowhere, trapping commuters in sudden blinding walls of white while only a few kilometers away, the sky might appear deceptively clear. As we move into the evening hours of this Saturday, the freezing rain transition zone is expected to migrate toward the Ottawa Valley, bringing the risk of significant ice buildup to the nation's capital and surrounding rural communities where the infrastructure is already vulnerable. There is no room for complacency today because the data suggests that this system has the moisture profile of a late-season blizzard and the wind profile of a tropical depression, a combination that makes the next 12 hours some of the most treacherous we have seen in the 2026 season. This is the moment for every Ontarian to secure their property, check on vulnerable neighbors, and stay off the roads as the province battles one of the most significant weather disruptions of the year, because nature is currently rewriting the landscape of Ontario with ice and wind, and the only safe response is to stay inside and respect the raw power of this mid-March surge. The meteorological setup we are seeing on the radar indicates that the moisture fetch is extending all the way from the Atlantic, feeding this storm with an endless supply of precipitation that shows no signs of tapering off until the early hours of Sunday morning. This means that the accumulation totals we predicted earlier may actually be exceeded in areas like the Niagara Escarpment, where the elevation creates an orographic lift that squeezes even more moisture out of the passing clouds, leading to localized snow totals that could bury driveways and block secondary roads entirely. For residents in the GTA, the primary threat remains the transition from rain to ice pellets, a gritty and dangerous mixture that provides zero traction for tires and can cause even the most advanced all-wheel drive vehicles to slide helplessly into intersections. We are urging everyone to monitor the low-level hydro gauges as well, because as the snow melts in the warmer sectors before freezing again, the drainage systems may become blocked by ice, leading to localized street flooding that adds another layer of chaos to an already dire situation. As the wind speeds continue to climb, we are seeing the Beaufort scale climb into the near gale category, which is enough to break small branches and make walking against the wind a physical struggle, especially for the elderly or those with mobility issues. The atmospheric instability is also creating a phenomenon known as Thundersnow in parts of southwestern Ontario, where the convection within the storm is so strong that lightning is discharging through the falling snow, a rare and beautiful but highly dangerous sign of the storm's raw internal energy. This is a dynamic situation that is evolving by the minute, and while the forecast models provide a roadmap, the reality on the ground is being dictated by small-scale fluctuations in temperature that can change a rainstorm into an ice storm with a shift of just half a degree. We are seeing a massive convergence zone over Lake Simcoe that is stationary, meaning that residents in Barrie and Orillia are currently being hammered by a relentless train of snow clouds that refuse to budge, leading to snowbanks that are growing by the inch every hour. Looking ahead to the overnight period, the cold front will finally sweep through, bringing an end to the precipitation, but introducing a deep freeze that will lock the province in ice, making Sunday morning a nightmare for anyone trying to clear their driveways or move their vehicles. This is the cycle of an Ontario March, a month that promises spring, but delivers the harshest stings of winter. And today, Saturday the 14th, is the perfect example of why we must never let our guard down until the final melt is complete. The provincial government has issued travel advisories for all non-essential movement, and we echo that sentiment with the strongest possible urgency, because the risk of being stranded in sub-zero temperatures is simply too high. Every minute you spend on the road today is a minute you are gambling with the unpredictability of a storm that has already proven it has the power to shut down entire cities. Stay tuned as we continue to track the movement of the low-pressure center and the trailing cold front, providing the data-driven insights you need to navigate this Saturday safely. Because in a province as vast and weather-beaten as Ontario, information is your most valuable tool for survival.